Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you're tuning in, then you've got massive heat. I'm Jack Farmer, being joined by Raj Geary and Matt Morgan, and we've got the original crew back together again after, what has it been, 3 weeks? Raj was off gallivanting and took a week off, and then, of course, I was on location working very hard still while I was away, but we're back together, folks. Matt, Raj, it's great to see you again.
Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, you too, man.
We got a lot of news that broke down, and we want to talk all about it. And, of course, everyone, we want your thoughts in the comments and in the chat as well. Make sure to subscribe to the show. That's the only way you can be involved in the chat. But for now, Matt and Raj, big news is some sad news and some unfortunate news. Raja Jackson got involved in a match at KnoxPro Wrestling and essentially assaulted wrestler Psycho Stu. From what I understand, Stu is currently in stable but critical condition. LA police are investigating, and regret and concern has been echoed by all, basically, about what happened. I want to start, Matt, with you. Obviously, not something you want to see happen in a ring. And for those who don't know, and haven't seen the clip, I should say, there was a match going on. Raja Jackson entered into the ring in what I assumed started as something that was planned, but then took down Psycho Stu and just repeatedly punched him in the face over and over and over and over again until eventually people stopped him. Psycho Stu now in critical but stable condition. Matt, your thoughts?
At first, I thought it was a work, but before I rewound it again and watched it, I'm like, oh my god, he's teeing off on his face. There's no questioning this. So there was a preamble to all this in the parking lot, where I guess Stu hit him with a beer can on the side of his head or something like that, and they're both standing there talking to each other, and Stu was like, "Hey, how come you didn't sell that kind of thing?" I heard a little bit of that, at least in the background. There's a bunch of people talking, so it's hard for me to hear everything. It's still no excuse for like what ends up happening in the middle of the ring during the show, where Raja Jackson, Rampage Jackson's son, jumps the guardrail, goes into the ring, and picks up it's Stu, right? Picks him up. That's a big man. So part of me thinks Stu was still working there and going along with it potentially. I don't know. I wasn't there. Just guessing. But then once he took that awkward-looking spine buster, or just dumping, if he would have rolled out of the way. I have a feeling like that was supposed to happen. But then idiot Raja gets on him and just starts punching him in the face and the chin hundreds of times, just wailing on him. I counted at least 15 clean strikes to his face. 15. One's enough to do damage. One. We've seen boxing guys get KO'd, or any MMA business as well, where you get hit right on your button, and everybody's got a button, I don't care how tough you are, in which you get knocked out. To get hit 15 times between here, good Lord. It was hard to watch. It made my heart weak watching it. It broke my heart. I was watching a guy just get pummeled like that and thinking that he was supposed to be working is my gist of it. He being Psycho Stu, trying to do the right thing and play along, and then this is the payback with the guy just freely teeing off on him like that. He should be in jail without question. And I didn't know what to make of it, because so much of this business is such a work, but that you can't zoom in. Go back and watch it on YouTube like I did. Zoom in. He's not hitting him here because it's a tough. At first, I'm like, okay, it's a weird angle. It's shot from over here. They're in the middle of the ring. Is he hitting him here somehow? Like under the jaw somehow, and we're not seeing it. I'm like, no, he's hitting him flat out, just banging on him. And something's wrong. I'm not making fun of Raja for this, but there's something definitely wrong in which you go into a worked narrative and do something like that. And worse, if that wasn't even at all whatsoever supposed to be introduced as a worked environment. Because I heard certain rumors, maybe they're just rumors, of people making excuses for Raja Jackson, in that, like, oh, they were set up this way, it was supposed to happen. no, that was not supposed to happen. Where Stu's like, yeah, you know what I'll do? I'll lay on the ground and just let you tee off on my chin all day. Nobody's agreeing to that. So he needs to be in jail. Rajah Jackson needs to be in prison or something for him to learn his lesson, because there's something off there, because he was still acting like that from the beginning of the show, where he was still talking to the guy after the guy hit him in the side of the head with that beer can. And then goes through the show and then the match and then jumps to guardrail. That's a long time to sit there festering. If you want to hit somebody, if he wanted to do that, why didn't he do it right then and there when it happened to him? At least have an opportunity. If you're going to have to fight and you have no choice but to fight, at least they could have done it backstage, or could have gotten it out of the system that way. But to wait for the guys down who thinks you're working and trying to give you your receipt, so to speak, and do the right thing, and this is how that guy should never be allowed to step in a professional wrestling ring ever again, or any type of ring. You can't trust him.
Yeah, it's going back, and I rewatched it because a lot of, like you, Matt, a lot of people are saying this is all fake, it's part of the show or work. So I watched it again, and I was thinking to myself, if this is a work, then he is the greatest professional wrestling striker I've ever seen in my life, because looks like he is teeing off on this guy. If he's not really teeing off on this guy, then that is the greatest I've ever seen anyone do it, because it looked like he was absolutely teeing off on this guy. And Raj, I want your thoughts on this. I mean, I'm watching this, and I'm thinking to myself, in any situation I can think of, worst case scenario, after, let's say he doesn't know what he's doing, let's say he thinks he's supposed to be swinging this hard, after 2 or 3 hits, I think any adult would be like, I can't keep doing this. But here he is continuing to assault this guy in the ring. I mean, it was just hard to watch.
Yeah, so kind of going back to what Matt was saying, how earlier in the show, so backstage, this was hours before this match, Rajah, and Stu saw that Rajah was streaming, so that he thought they were working. He didn't know Rajah was, Rampage's son, wasn't a wrestler. So he did the beer thing as a way to kind of, just work. And, he was doing it as work. Later, Rajah got upset. Stu found out, he apologized, and all this stuff is on Rajah's Kick. Like, everything was recorded. It was all streamed. And during Stu's match, Rajah actually posted on his stream, he said, I ain't really sub farming, but 50 subs to knock him out. So they planned for the spot where Rajah would get in and take him down. And I think maybe do a work, just maybe land a work punch or something, but, obviously not really start hitting him. And I think it was over 20 punches. I think it was even more.
I believe it. No, I believe you.
Yeah, it was, and unprotected. Like, he wasn't covering up. He was out after like the first one.
It had to be the first one, because naturally we would turtle up. Anybody on the planet would turtle up in that spot, and he didn't have the ability, wherewithal to do it, because he was out from the first one on.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And so Rampage afterwards, he said that he was that Stu was in stable condition, was going to go home the next day. But as you mentioned, Jack, his brother, Andrew Smith, wrote on Facebook that he's in stable but critical care. So it sounds like he's still, jacked. The LAPD, they're investigating. And
good.
So, I mean, this is same thing. I tweeted this out last night, that this guy, he needs prison time, for that. That's just unacceptable. And Rampage once, he said he has 3 sons, and 2 of them he's saving up for college, and 1 of them he's saving up for bail money. And we know who he was talking about. This was a while back. And so obviously Rajah has had a troubled history, and it's just really unfortunate. And obviously hoping the best for Stu, and hoping he pulls through. I guess a bunch of his teeth got knocked out. But hopefully he's completely fine, mentally and everything coming out of this.
What a punk. Like, I'm not trying to be Johnny Tough Guy right now. I'm 40. I'm an old man, but what a punk. You have to be the world's biggest punk on the planet to mount a guy in a worked environment and think that's your green light to start teeing off on them with freebie after freebie after freebie. We're not talking like Bob Holly stiffing somebody with a kick to the gut or whatever. We're talking, like you said, over 20 punches to the mush. The first one obviously knocked him out. You could see it from a mile away. He was out cold. And the guy just continued thinking it's okay to keep. I could keep talking about it. I'm sorry. It's just one of the most disgusting things I think any of us have ever seen. We're not up on our high perch, thumbing our nose down at it, Adam and that man are like, oh, we're the best people on the planet, We don't mean it that way. Just mean it in the way of just being a human being, watching that. I wanted to cry for that guy. My heart broke in half for that guy. I was thinking about his family. What happens if he has kids and they saw that? Like, what? That's going to be replayed over and over. That's going to be on YouTube forever. Just my heart goes out to Psycho Stu, and hopefully everything, obviously pray as hard as we can to make sure everything is okay with him and he's able to come back from this. And if he needs any help, we need to figure out what we can do to help. I'm sure there's going to be a fund or something with those medical bills. And if we're fortunate enough to get to that, because it turns out that he's able to get through this somehow, which is what we're all praying for. Everyone in the wrestling community, we got the best community on the planet. It's the one community. And I know we're very bipolar with our opinions as a collection of fans between AEW and WWE. That's divisive. I know that. But as a group, when it comes to human being issues, we're all one, and we're all the best team in the world as fans go. And if they create a fund for this guy, we all have got to contribute. We've all got to do whatever we can to help this guy and his family, because that was one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen. Not saying something. I've seen some crap backstage in locker rooms. Not like that.
And Johnny Hex pointing out that WWE cut ties with that promotion. This took place at KnoxPro, based in California. It's Rikishi's promotion. And they had
his in-game girls or just his? I forget.
I'm not sure. I know he's the owner, but WWE ID, they had an affiliation with that. And so they have severed ties with that promotion and the academy. And so they're no longer affiliated with them. So I think that promotion is going to be, it's not it for that promotion either.
Were you going to say something, Jack?
Oh, sorry. My stream got a little choppy there, but yeah, it's, it sounds like that WWE may have pulled ties to them, as you guys were just saying. But I just wanted to mention Johnny Hex in the chat saying, honestly, the Raja situation was absolutely disgusting. As someone who has been a wrestling fan for their entire life, I was physically sick. And also saying a lot of people keep calling Raja a kid. He's not. He's 25. I just going back to I think back to like the Travis Scott moment at WrestleMania when he hit Cody Rhodes, and I think obviously you want trained professionals in there, but you think, okay, that was one punch. Maybe the adrenaline got him. Maybe he didn't know what he was doing. It was an accident, whatever. But then you look at the Raja thing, and again, it's like 20 times. You can't have an accident 20 times.
No.
And so, yeah, he absolutely should be, prosecuted. I do want to give a shout out in a positive way, though.
Yep.
Silverback has reposted the stream. Thank you so much, Silverback. And so has Johnny X. We appreciate you guys both for coming through. We are at a different time today because usually we go on after Raw, but Raw, of course, being across the pond, was at a earlier time. So we got to watch the show earlier and be on a little bit earlier with you. And I hope that this is an opportunity for a lot of people who don't get to catch us live to catch us live now. And if you are watching us live for the first time, let us know in the comments or in the chat. Again, you got to subscribe to use the chat. So hit the subscribe button. We got a lot of cool stuff on Podcast T anyways. Speaking of cool stuff on cool programs, WWE is going to be moving to ESPN a bit sooner than we thought it was going to. Clash in Paris is the final Peacock show before moving to ESPN with WrestlePalooza on September 20th. Saturday night's main event will stay on Peacock. Raj, working with ESPN seems like a upgrade from Peacock. I don't know the number of homes or anything, but I think if I tell my friends, check out the show on ESPN, it hits a little better than check out the show on Peacock. What are your thoughts on the WWE move? And is WWE getting a little too spread out? Sometimes I do feel like I find myself wondering, where do I watch the next show?
I feel like that with the NFL a lot, especially during the playoffs, where it's like,
Yes.
is this on Netflix? Is this, is this on NFL Network? Yeah. I mean, it's a great deal for WWE because they start getting that ESPN money, that 1.1 billion over 5 years. They start getting that early, so they start getting it now as opposed to having to wait until April. So that's why they wanted out of the deal. But, Peacock, NBCU, they're, longtime partners. So they definitely wanted to not lose that relationship. And they had the Saturday night's main event under contract anyway. So as a way to not have Peacock lose their WWE subscribers, now Saturday night's main event is only going to be exclusive on Peacock. It won't be on NBC anymore. That, obviously that's a big loss of exposure because NBC broadcast TV now, they basically lost their one major broadcast TV outlet. They have CW with NXT, but that's not on the same level as Fox, NBC, ABC, and CBS. So they're getting a lot more money now, but they are getting a lot less exposure by going to Peacock exclusive for the Saturday night's main event. And John Cena's retirement match, which will be December 13th, is now only going to be on Peacock. It won't be on NBC. So there's going to be far fewer people watching his retirement.
Do you really believe that? Because it's a streaming service. I've always thought with a streaming service, people can go back and watch it again. It's not some no-name streaming service. It's Peacock, right? A lot of people have it. I know the barometer of the max amount of viewers I could possibly watch NBC if Saturday night's main event was on NBC television. I get what you're saying. But as far as wrestling fans go, they're going to want to see it. They're going to watch it on that streaming service. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, Peacock has I think 36 million subscribers, something like that, as of the end of last year. NBC reaches over 120 million people.
Yeah.
So, and the first Saturday night's main event, when they did the ratings, way more people watched on NBC than Peacock. But at that time, you had the option. And now, when you don't have the option, obviously you're going to have way more people. Obviously all these people subscribe to WWE for the pay-per-views, so you're going to have way more WWE fans that will be watching that we're not watching before when you could watch it on NBC.
What's funny? I would have tried to time it differently just because I got rid of the Peacock when I heard that they were going, between Netflix and ESPN, then finally ESPN. I really then got rid of it. But yeah, here we are.
Well, I mean, they got to kind of stack these Saturday night's main events up, because if they don't, people that don't watch NXT or the NXT PLEs, they could just pick and choose 4 times a year to subscribe to Peacock and then cancel after.
Right.
And so it has to be a card that's worth subscribing for.
Yes.
And so, they can't just do a ho-hum card. So.
And as great news as them being on ESPN I just want to reiterate how pissed off I am that I have to pay $30 a month for yet another app that's obnoxious. I know they're going to get it, and still, I can still bitch about it, though.
Yeah, I do miss the days of just knowing that, this is where I watch wrestling, WWE. It's on here. I get it. But now I know it's good for WWE, but it's frustrating to be like, oh, this show's on Peacock. This show's on ESPN. This one's on Netflix. This one's on USA Network and CW. It's just, it's very, like you guys said, with the NFL. I know for me, it gets hard to watch NFL because I don't live near my home team. So they don't play the home team games here unless I buy the $500 package. And then it's like, well, geez. It wouldn't surprise me if that was coming to WWE at some point down the road. But
yeah, I could definitely see that. But the one great thing for WWE is they have a ton of partners now, right? That if one fails or something business-wise happens to happen to one of the partners, they have all these others that they can lean on. And that's one problem with AEW is they have all their eggs in that WBD basket. And now WBD is splitting into 2 companies. And who knows what's going to go on with those 2, if one gets sold or both get sold. And so, and by not making these other partnerships, they don't have, their renewal is coming up in just a couple of years. They don't have that same kind of flexibility to, they really only have a handful of options. And so it's smart to have as many partners as you can, even though for the consumer, it definitely can be kind of a pain.
Oh, totally. They're doing the right thing. It just
Mhm.
bugs me as
Yeah.
old man Jack that wants his WWE channel that's easy to easy to find. Um,
Yeah.
but speaking of things that are sometimes difficult to find, Forbidden Door was on. Yeah, I gotta say, Max does AEW no favors with finding them when you sign on to look for their stuff. By the way, but
Same, not just them. I try to go through Prime this time because I watched their pre-show and it kept showing the Prime tag saying, "Hey, you can go on Prime Network and order it here." I kept typing in literally AEW Forbidden Door 2025, and it kept bringing me to the pre-show that is already now well over. The pay-per-view had already started.
right,
So then I finally figured it out, got it loaded, and they say this show just completed. And I'm like, I can't watch it back. But then I had to wait about an hour, and then I was able to watch it back. But with a pain in the butt, it was to get it. I'm just gonna say I really, really loved this pay-per-view. I did. I had a great time watching it. I loved all the matches. I really loved MJF and Hangman. That was my favorite match. And then the main event match I thought was outstanding. And it was the main event match, the 5-on-5 was, you would think because Moxley's in it, it's going to be nothing but gory and bloody and blah, blah, blah. They did a perfect blend, in my opinion, of doing a little bit of that with a crap load of athleticism, with Will Ospreay being in there. Kenny Omega looked amazing. The whole match was Darby selling like only he can sell. He took a press slam, but their cage is set further back from the ring than any WWE steel cage is, including even Hell in a Cell. Hell in a Cell is even closer to the ring than the cages and AEW's are. And dude, he gets press slammed by Cesaro and runs across the ring, throws him. I'm not joking, guys. It's like 15, 20 feet away to hit the cage. He hits the middle of the cage and just slides. but like you can watch it back and watch Darby in midair move his body in the right position at the last second to flush hit his back. You got to watch to see it. It's unbelievable how somebody being thrown in the air can figure out how to turn his body just enough. I love the pay-per-view. I can't say enough great things about it. I loved it.
We did have a comment for you, Matt, that I want to read to you. And I'm sorry if I get this name wrong, but Parias Wrestling says, "Hey, Matt, brother, I want to ask you on the Moxley Darby fork spot in London. Do you think that's too much? And for the kids that watch AEW or that they were in attendance with their parents?"
I'm not trying to sound like a wuss, but yeah, it's a little bit too much. You didn't need to have it. But if you go back and watch the match, Darby's ear started bleeding a little bit earlier in the match when he was taking an easy bump on the ladder. Joking, being facetious, smart butt. But this guy takes the craziest bumps. And he took another crazy one on a ladder in a corner, and he was grabbing his ear and it was gushing already. So the announce team was smart to stay away from talking about it too much. That tells me that fork spot to the ear that was coming up later in the match was definitely a planned spot, no question. They weren't ad-libbing here, obviously. And you could tell they used the fork in the ear, unless I'm wrong, the piercing, because Darby has what's called gauged pierced ears, which means like Jeff Hardy. It's not just an earring pierce. It's like a huge gaping hole that you have to put this huge gauge in to keep your earlobe, like a huge circle there that the earring gauge goes in. And I think, actually, I don't think any destruction was done to his ear with that fork. I think because he was bleeding already, that they put the fork through that hole, which is a huge hole. And what was the grossest part? Moxie's like twisting the fork like you would spaghetti. It was disgusting. I wanted to puke. But the question is that too much, especially with kids? Yeah, of course it is with kids, if that's your direct question. But I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't know we're going to get something nuts from Moxley in this with something gory and bloody like that. What I liked was it wasn't too much of that. I thought it was the most, I can't even call it controlled. But for Moxley, I felt like it was the most controlled with his gore, blood and guts crap that we've seen in a long time from one of his matches that he was involved in. Because it was a 5-on-5. You have all these other stars in the match. Man, the athleticism in this match, I'm telling you guys have got to watch that main event match, that 5-on-5 steel cage match, and you cannot miss MJF versus Hangman Adam Page, because that match was outstanding. I loved every second of it.
That one spot was really awkward where the referee counted 3 and
Yes,
then
it
just
was.
collapsed. That was the one. That was a real sour point of that match. Was just that whole referee spot. It looked like a clean 3 count. It just looked ridiculous. But outside of that, Hangman MJF, he's great.
Yeah, when things like that happen, I always wonder, and I don't know I have no idea how AEW does things, but things like with the refs moment, I always wonder, it looks like they didn't run through it beforehand, and like, how is this going to look, or how is this supposed to play out?
Or
reverse it.
Or Vince McMahon 101. No matter what, he's counting 2-3. If you don't kick out, you're losing the match, unplanned or not, tough-ish. Just like when we're talking, shoot a guy off the ropes, and when the guy is coming off the ropes and ducks your clothesline, you always see guys like do that, which looks like crap, instead of like Scott Hall would train a lot of us, as you try to rip his head off, and it's his job to duck it. If he doesn't duck it and you skin the top of his head, that's his fault. And that's the way this business is. That's how it's supposed to be with referees too, by the way. You count 2-3 if the guy doesn't kick out. I don't care what storyline it crushes or what it ruins. It kills the credibility of the referee. And the referee's credibility is absolute in the crap house as it is.
Raj, what was your thoughts on the fork in the ear? I know you have a certain taste for violence. I think you and I park our car in the same garage when it comes to violence. I get squeamish. I'm like, I don't want to see this. But what did you think of Forbidden Door and the violent moments?
I haven't finished all of Forbidden Door, but I did watch that match. I thought that was gross, but I thought, like Matt said, I thought overall the match was really, really good. I find stuff like that. I don't see why you do it. I think it's just a turn off. You turn off it just turns off a segment of the fans. So if you have like casuals watching for the first time, I think it just looks low rent when you do stuff like that with the fork. But outside of that, I thought it was really good. And I know some people were complaining about Ospreay getting killed after the match, but he's going to be gone a long time. Getting his neck surgery.
He is. He's getting neck surgery, but he told us that before this match. So he did his say la vie to the fans. I'm going to give you one last match on my way out to get this surgery. I didn't understand it either. Everyone's like, well, of course they had to beat him up. Moxley and crew had to come back in the match. It was like, this is where AEW gets in trouble, where they put a hat on a hat on a hat on a hat. And this was already a gimmick match as it was, with an amazing finish with oh my God, I wrestled him. Why am I brain farting on his name? It was his last match from New Japan. Tanahashi. It was Tanahashi's last pro wrestling match. It was a lot of things, a lot of eggs in this basket, a lot of gimmicks with the Young Bucks not being VPs and coming out and into their old Bop entrance music they used to come out to on the indies back when they first started. That was hilarious. Them dumping the bag and it ends up being gummy worms or gummy bears instead of thumbtacks. Like if you watch the pre-show, like my dorky butt did, you'd see they gave their bag to the directors, like, don't mess around this week. This week you better put thumbtacks in class, or it's your ass. And sure enough, later in the show, it paid off where they go to dump it out and it's gummy bears. Everyone's laughing at them. They're all pissed. It was really funny. But again, a little bit better character development. I like seeing the Bucks in this role. It's hilarious. But then if you watch that match, it's hard to argue that they weren't the stars of that match as well, because their athleticism is insane. Their tandem offense is still really top notch. But then you have, like I said, Omega was incredible in this match. Ibushi, am I saying that right? Ibushi,
yeah.
Friggin' showed the most charisma I've seen from him in an AEW ring in this match, firing up and really being into his character. The whole match, I love that main event. The whole pay-per-view I liked. Can't say enough great things about it. I just didn't think they needed the ending, okay, where Moxley and his crew just got decimated. All right, they got put through 4 tables off the top of this cage. Everybody should be dead. And then they have enough energy to come back in and then start beating the crap out of Will Ospreay, who we already know was taking time away to go get this neck surgery. Again, it was a hat on a hat on a hat. They should have left there without their heat, is my point. The end shot should have been Will waving bye to the fans with his music playing, and I'm gonna see you guys again down the road. I got to get this surgery, but I'm coming back. Thanks for the love in my, home country. And Matt, don't you see that's where the heat lies? No, Moxley and them always leave with heat. Every damn segment they're a part of, they have to always leave with heat, and it gets old to where it's not heat anymore. It becomes an annoyance.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's something about leaving a big show like with a smile on your face and being happy.
Of course there is. Hulk must pose. Yes.
Yes. And it's and I feel like because we did know he was leaving, I almost think it would have probably hit harder if he did another farewell on Dynamite, and then that's when the Death Riders get their heat back, if they're going to do that.
They already have so much heat. It's obnoxious. They beat up the entire roster for about a year and a half. They held that damn company hostage in so many ways when I say that word hostage.
Yeah. I'm with you. I love the show. I still think they should get it to a nice 3 hours, but that's a battle I'm never going to win. So I'm
right.
I was into it. Also, with the 4-way, a lot of people give Mercedes Moné crap about being full of herself and having all these titles with a mark, blah, blah, blah. She did nothing but sell for the other 3 girls in that 4-way. And I thought, and now I'm forgetting the girl's name, is this German girl.
Bozilla?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, I wanted to get on Twitter, but I didn't have it downloaded on my phone at the time. I wanted to type it so fast. I'm like, if AEW's not signed this girl, they're idiots. WWE, you better be watching this. You need to sign her. She's 21 years old, Raj, and she works like a big, I can't say big man anymore, but like a big woman wrestler. Big, tall, dominating, strong as hell. By the way, she can do a moonsault off the top. And she's only 21 and been wrestling for 3 years. Her dad was a pro wrestler in Germany, supposedly. She's going to be a big star. And I hope AEW is smart enough to not let what happened to them with, Stephanie Vaquer. When she came through AEW, WWE jacked her. Hopefully AEW learned their lesson with that and signed that woman to a contract again. Say her name again properly.
Bozilla.
That's what it was. Yeah.
How do you not like someone with that name, by the way? What a great wrestler name.
And Raj, she was getting the AEW pop, the heel pop, where the fans think they're cool and they still cheer for the heel. She was having none of it, dude. She was getting this huge babyface reaction. And she's like, shut up. I ain't asked for your like doing old school heel stuff. I think, dude, she is going to be a massively big talent one day. I have a feeling.
Well, speaking of old school heels, one of them may be making their way back to WWE. Jericho,
I'm sorry, Jack. Real quick. Just a couple last things on All Out. Jamie Hayter and Wardlow returned at the show.
Forbidden Door.
Forbidden Door. Sorry. Wardlow is part of the non-Callis family. And then also Swerve, he's going to be out of action for a while. He's getting surgery for his meniscus this Wednesday, and obviously Ospreay. So just wanted to throw that in there before moving on.
Swerve's match was really good as well. And back to Monet one last time, because everybody gives her a lot of crap. I'm one of them. She put those other 3 women over massively in that 4-way girls match for the title. She slipped on she had one of the others slip on a banana peel and rolled her up 1, 2, 3 for the finish. She hardly got any offense in that match. She had like 2 or 3 things of offense. That's it. It featured the other 3 women way more, and she was selling her butt off for all 3. So I've got to give her props for that. By
the way, Don Callis family is getting to NWO levels of population.
Wait, time out. Do you mean wait, hang on. Do you mean Don Callis family being NWO level of like where like all the scrubby people were in NWO?
Of like, their HR list is huge. They got a ton of people.
You just mean because there's a lot.
Because
Wardlow going to them is a massive addition.
Yes.
I just still don't trust AEW's booking. I know he's on the next what's the word?
Gladiators, American Gladiators.
Incoming American Gladiator show.
Yeah.
They reinvigorated yet again. This is the 3rd time.
Yes.
I was on the 2nd time, so I can't talk ish.
I was about to say, you should. They should call you back if they want to bring the show back.
I'm not wrestling. And then, so my point though is, I still, even with him being on American Gladiators, any company would be smart enough. That's when my push in TNA started, I would argue. But my point with Wardlow is, I don't trust AEW enough to not flop this somehow with him
Yeah.
specifically. They're good at pushing others. We've seen. I'm worried about him specifically because he was on top of the damn mountain with Goldberg. I'm not exaggerating this. Go back and watch him versus CM Punk, even where he power bombs the hell out of Punk. Punk sold his ass off of that match for him, and helped make him even more. And so did others, especially MJF, getting completely crushed by him when he's about to go for the world title not too long after that. And my point is, there was never a payoff with Wardlow. They never got him to that heavyweight championship level of at least being a perennial opponent for the world title. And they at least should have gotten to that level because these fans, I'm telling you, go back in time, they were chanting for him like they did Goldberg. I'm not exaggerating this. Those arenas were chanting Wardlow super loud. He was super over, which is the hardest thing to do. He's there, and they screwed it up. They brought him back. People tried to get behind him again. They screwed it up again. And I don't trust them. I now don't trust AEW on how to book Wardlow. I hope I am wrong about that because I'm a massive fan of it.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. They should use him a lot if he's going to be on American Gladiators. But to your point, I always think about how they had the Von Erich kids in AEW when Iron Claw came out, and I was thinking, how come these kids aren't on TV every week? As it's the biggest movie of the year at the moment, or whatever. And they were like on at the time Rampage once. And I was like, what are you doing? They should be on every week, being like, we're the kids in the movie.
Yeah, and you know who from the Queen of the Ring?
Yeah.
God, what's her name in AEW now? It was the same name she had.
Camille.
Camille. God,
Camille.
it's horrible. I mean, I'm getting old, guys. I apologize. Camille's a massive star. She should be a 10 times bigger star by now, but same thing. She's a Queen of the Ring. They did nothing with her.
But we do have to move on. We do have Jericho going to WWE, or the rumors of Jericho going to WWE. Raj, I want your take on Jericho going to WWE. I personally think that it'd probably be a good thing for all parties if he was to go to WWE. What say you?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a smart. It's always a smart thing to have it leaked that you are interested, or you might be going to the competition, because that raises your price up, right? And it creates a bit of a bidding war. But the learning tree, they haven't been using that name for a while in AEW, so clearly it seems like they kind of anticipate that he might be leaving. I think it's he doesn't have that many more years. He's how old now? Is he 55 or 52? I'm forgetting how old
Something
he is.
like that.
But I just think that, like, the time he's at that point in his career where it's no longer trying to elevate somebody, it's get some
54.
Get a few more big matches out of him. You go to WWE, you can have big matches with Punk and Rollins and Roman and these guys, and you have one last run at the top, get in the Hall of Fame, and then work for WWE in some other capacity. So I do think it's the right move.
I do. I just don't want to see him hurt his legacy. I think being AEW these last few years has a little overall, when we're talking 10, 15 years from now, no one's going to remember the learning tree crap. They're going to remember his stuff with AEW being the beginning, what a huge part of it he was, giving them their first mega superstar headliner act from WWE. Oh, Moxley, man. Okay, yes, but he's not on the same level as Chris Jericho's huge career at this point when he went to AEW as a major star. Still is a major star, obviously. I'm just saying. It's like Dr. J hanging on a little bit too long with NBA. You want to see your GOATs or your favorite wrestlers, leave at the right time. And I know it's hard to do in wrestling. It's almost impossible to do, especially in today's climate. They're making so much money. Think about that. Normally somebody in Chris's spot would have retired, and then there's this huge wrestling boom coming back. 2019, AEW gets created, and they're throwing millions of dollars around now at tag teams, average, middle of the road tag teams. Yeah. Man, boy, did I miss my era.
Yeah, it's I just think there's not really as much for him left to do in AEW, and I think a final run in WWE would be great for him.
A short one. I would like to see, Jack. I like to keep it short, not too long. where again it gets to be what happened in AEW, that he was on every single week, and it gets eventually old. And you don't want that for somebody that is a first ballot Hall of Famer and one of the better wrestlers of all time. One could make that argument.
Yeah, I believe so. He's in my top 25 somewhere. I don't know. I don't have a real
that's
top
a good call, Jack.
But,
Jack, that's a very good call.
Like, it's got to be some top 25. But to wrap things up for the day, we did watch Raw before we got on there. It was earlier. It was coming to us from Europe, and a lot of stuff happened. Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman went toe-to-toe on the microphone. Jey Uso super kicked CM Punk. And we also got Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella official for Clash in Paris. Raj, any final takeaways from Raw or anything that you saw that you wanted to shout out?
Yeah, and sorry we have a bit of a time constraint this week, so we're not doing a full Raw review. But that opening Roman Reigns promo, dude, is just super over. It was interesting. He brought up Cody Rhodes, and the crowd booed, and Roman even went interesting. So that was interesting. I just wonder if the tides are starting to shift a little bit, or it's just one of those things, how it started with Cena, where it was the smart cities, the overseas crowds that started booing him at first, and then later it kind of caught on everywhere. So I don't know which one it is, but Cody was booed when his name was mentioned during that opening promo. But outside of that, it was kind of a run-of-the-mill show. Outside of that, nothing really big, just Becky and Nikki. Oh yeah, also Naomi vacated the title. Stephanie Vaquer is not getting her title shot at Clash in Paris. They're going to do it at some other point. I don't know if it's going to be on Raw or they're going to save it for WrestlePalooza. That seems to make the most sense. But so instead of that match, we're getting Becky and Nikki Bella.
And I'd want to add, Becky cut another world beater promo tonight. Her reactions help Nikki Bella's like average mid promos out a lot with her heel reactions to everything she was saying, was with her faces for like little like wimpy comebacks that Nikki would give her. I just love the work she's doing. I also love what they're doing with Bayley right now. Yeah. Love Bayley's vignettes. Tonight's was the best one, in my opinion. You had heel Bayley on one side, you had babyface on the other side, in her head talking back and forth. It was really well done. I loved how well executed it was. You're right though. It's another paint by numbers show that everything was. I'm not saying when it's predictable, wrestling's horrible, but WWE was doing so good during that Cody Rhodes climb, chasing the title at the time, where everything was so unpredictable for the first time. It made it so great to watch. You had the bloodline hitting on all cylinders while at the same time that was happening. Everything was just so unpredictable and good. And now I'm very paint by numbers. And got to point this out, what I also like. Bronson Reed. I love them putting this equity finally into him and giving him his own stuff. If you notice, he came out when Roman Reigns opened the show in the in-ring promo. Bronson came out with Paul. He didn't have the big dog, the new big dog. He didn't have Braun Breaker there next to him like they normally have. They let him get his own shine. He cut a good promo with a hostile crowd doing they always do this overseas. Who are ya? Who are ya? Who are ya? Who are ya? Which is, who are you? You're a jobber. You're nobody. Is, I'll tell you who the hell I am. And he sounded confident when he said it. That's off the cuff. That wasn't pre-planned. I love Roman bringing up, hold up. So he's Samoan this whole time? A huge pop for that. But I love them leaning into, I love Bronson talking about, like your what do you say, your uncles.
Yeah.
Like your uncles, those kind of Samoans. That's what kind of Samoan I am. He's like, see, these were earned. He goes, your tribal artwork. He's like, you paid for that. I was like, dude, that's bad. Like right away, like I give him street cred right away. Like he seems tougher to me now. I know it sounds stupid, but it's in the small details. I love Bronson Reed. I love what they're doing with him. And then Braun Breaker was a freak in the main event. I did not like the ending. I did not the finish. They had LA Knight take a pin going into a 4-way world title match. Yeah. And they had Braun Breaker beat him. Well, Matt, Braun Breaker is going to be the next it. Of course he's going to win. No, This is the perfect time for a DQ. I'm sorry, I know everybody doesn't like DQs. You don't beat your baby face going into a 4-way World Heavyweight Championship match at a PLA. That's so stupid. And it tells me what they think of him, which really bothers me, that they're still ignoring these fans.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done that. I would have done something more. He wrestled great in that match. I know people knock his wrestling every once in a while. I don't know why. He jumped to the top rope tonight off of 1 foot, and I could speak from experience how hard that is to do. And usually when people jump to the top rope, it's always off a 2-foot leap. He did it off 1 foot in the middle at the end of a match. Great athleticism between both of them, him and Braun. It was a good match. I just was hoping I was being right in my prediction that they're going to have a DQ here. So therefore, neither of the talents get hurt by it. And they even teased it by having Seth Rollins come out. His music hits at the end of the match. I'm like, cool, here comes the DQ. No, they use it as a distraction to make LA look like an idiot and run around the ring chasing Seth, and he eats a spear. Nasty looking spear, head first spear. It wasn't even Braun's shoulder hitting the guy's stomach. It was Braun's head hitting his stomach. That dude's just badass. Throws him in the ring, pins him 1, 2, 3, essentially. I didn't like that finish at all. I hated it. You don't bury a babyface like that. I don't care who the heel is.
And the ending, it just feels like they're doing that ending every week. Where, you knew
it was coming, right? You sensed it was coming, right?
Yeah.
Me too. Except, I got to take one thing back.
Yeah.
Jack, I did not expect Jay, and I should have, from the Roman Reigns backstage pep talk he gave him, which made Jay. Roman's had over. Roman in the same shot of Jey Uso took Jey Uso, me taking him seriously in the 4-way, and boosted it like times 10 because Roman just being in the shot backstage in his pre-tape, his promo, and gassing him up and hyping him up on why he's going to win, and he's the man now, made Jay all just like stack up again. That's how over this dude is. You sprinkle that Roman does on anything, it's going to get over.
Yeah. You know what really put me over with him was when Uso kicked CM Punk.
That's what I was leading to, and I got my Roman. I got distracted by my Roman glazing.
It happens to all of us, Matt.
But that's where I was leading to. That's the one thing at the very end I did not expect to happen was Uso super kicking Punk. But my point was Roman was planting that seed. Yeah.
It was that left a not just because I'm a Punk hater, but because it was so shocking. Like, oh wow, I didn't see that. Yeah. But you're right. It was that left a good feeling coming out of Raw. And
so, without being a jerk, before we go, Raj, everyone's always gonna say, Matt, you're always gonna be a body guy, like who I look for as guys like that are my favorite wrestlers. That's not always the truth. I want them to look like they can kick somebody's ass in a real fight, though. At least look like you could, like Bronson Reed. Braun Breaker. But LA Knight, when you see the 3 of the baby faces in there, LA Knight, super mega star, CM Punk, and Jey Uso, former world champion. When you look at the 3 of them that were in there, just looks alone, who looked like they're a main event, should be a main event star?
Oh yeah. No, it's always LA Knight.
Right?
Yeah.
Come on. I don't get what their problem with this guy is.
Yeah, I don't get it either because the fans love him. I love him. And when you go to shows, the has almost replaced the woo. Like when you're walking around at shows now, everyone you hear woos all the time. Now you're like, it's. I don't get why they don't pull the trigger with him or do something with him, but I think they just get too confident with certain people. I think they get that way with Drew McIntyre right now, with him who's super hot, but seems to always take L's in the big spotlight. And I don't know.
Good call. No,
I think they just feel like, oh, he'll always be over, so it's okay if he takes a loss. Is what I think. I don't know, but
Drew got the manufactured stuff in the beginning, though. He was, when he came back to WWE, he was pushed down everybody's throat as his babyface for quite a while. It wasn't until he eventually turned heel towards the end that he got super duper over with, especially the stuff with Punk and Seth. He really got himself over on the microphone and just said F it and let it fly. But he had years of WWE television experience to get to that point. All LA Knight has had is a few years with this company. And his first few was BS, putting him in that Vince, showing they should have freaking got out of his company a long time ago. The terrible booking of LA Knight. And that's what you do with them? Model agent?
Yeah, hey guys, I'm sorry. I got to run. But
Dupree, right? Yeah.
See you, Raj.
Take care, guys.
Bye, Raj.
Everybody.
Well, Matt, I think that's time for us to wrap it up as well.
Okay.
But before we do, everyone, again, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. I want to give a shout out to Akshay Kumar, who says Jack is a great host. Couldn't agree more, buddy.
Oh, wow.
But also, real quick question for you before we head out, because this one has been sitting here for a little bit. But Dave Arlo asks, hey, question for you guys. If WWE put AAA live on Wednesdays, if it could beat AEW, I think AAA has the better characters, and with all the luchas in WWE, I think it could beat AEW. Matt,
So-
what do you think? That's this is a Raj question, but you're here, so you get it.
We're talking about. We were still fans of what we think would do better.
He's the ratings guy, is what
no, he's the guy that tells you how much money these companies are making, over what and blah 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 blah. No, I'm joking. I'm just playing, Raj.
Yeah.
But as a fan, AAA, I watched Triple Mania and I loved it from the beginning of the show, not joking, until the very end. They had all these colorful characters of all different shapes, sizes, makes, and models, gimmicks. The gimmicks were endless on this show. I loved every bit of it. The Exoticas, to what's his name, Microman being in there with Omos. Oh my God! Like there were so many cool things about that show with really good, fast-paced wrestling to it. If you're an AEW fan and you like that athleticism and you like the in-ring product of what AEW does do better, I'm sorry, than WWE, which is once they're in that ring, from the beginning of the show to the end of the show, the matches in the ring are athletically superior more times than not. They just are. I'm not saying they're telling better stories. I'm not saying their characters are better. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying the actual in-ring athleticism is like at a level 10 in AEW. I would argue AAA has that for you with the storytelling of these luchadors, of all these great stories that WWE is already doing a great job of telling us their backgrounds, their stories, the stories of why they wear that mask, which is so important to that lucha libre culture and the Mexicana culture in general. It's huge. And I loved Triple Mania. I really did. And this was the second one I'd watched now. I participated in one of myself many years ago. I think it was me, Abyss, and Jeff Jarrett with Karen in our corner versus Psycho Clown, and I forget his other two partners. But honored to be able to say I wrestled at Triple Mania. But answer his question more directly. Do I think it could be AEW, though, AAA? I think with the WWE machine behind it, I think it could compete. I don't think it beat it at first. I think it could compete. And then eventually, like what you said in your question, sir, was the characters. You're dead on about that. They have the characters and the flavor and the different and the new to a lot of American fans that have never seen it before. So I agree with you on that, as well as what he also said in this comment, the athleticism of going 100 miles an hour in that ring, which a lot of those AEW fans like to watch. Well, AAA can absolutely do every bit of that. So hopefully I answered your question somewhere in there, brother.
Yeah, I think somewhere. I always say I never doubt WWE. If WWE is behind something, it can be the number one in the world. But that does it for us. Our names are under the wrong. Our heads are above the wrong names now since Raj left. But instead of fixing it, I think we'll just wrap up. But Matt, before we go, where can the world find you online? Where can the world support you? All that good stuff.
Twitter. I'm sorry, X. It's the world's dumbest name.
Yeah.
X and Instagram. They both are at BP Matt Morgan. BP like Blueprint Matt Morgan, and Facebook just Matt Morgan.
And you can find me at Real Jack Farmer across all social media. I'm going to be doing ring announcing for Championship Wrestling tomorrow. So if you're in Southern California, come on through. Also going to be doing ring announcing and commentary for the LA Rumble on Friday. So you can check that out on Triller if you want to see that show. It's like the Royal Rumble, but it's all wrestlers from here in LA. So it's a fun show. Make sure to check that out. That does it for us. Make sure to follow all the shows here on the Podcast Heat Network, and we'll see you guys, a massive heat, next week on Monday, which is an earlier time again after Raw. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I'm just going to hit that end stream button now.